What up? It's your boy T-Bird and reaction to today's Wrestling Wednesday though. So, about to check out a video. I'm trying to remember what I have at because I lost my spot trying to look for an intro for the video I did about the new generation era as well too though. And this is above I bring up tag teams of the development era as well too. Yes. 10 WWE development teams that sounds weird today. And you know, if you follow wrestlers if you follow the development territory very faithfully, like OVW, FCW, or even NXT, there's some wrestlers you would not believe were a tag team as well too. Though I can think of some from the NXT era I watched as well too. Before Angelo Dawkins was part of the Street Profits, he was tag team with Sawyer Fulton, who y'all know as Madman Fulton, and before American Alpha ever existed as well too. Though you had Chad Gable and Jason Jordan. Before that, Jason Jordan was in a tag team with Shawn Spears, then known as Todd Dillinger, and there's many other tag teams. At one point, before they was known as the Four Horsewomen, Charlotte, Sasha Banks, and Summer Rae was actually part of a team called the BFFs, and many other tag teams you probably did not know of as well too though. So we're gonna not be in this list though, but because there's gonna be some that happen in OVW and FCW. But either way, there's some development times. You have tag teams you may never heard. Some even win goals as well too though. So without further ado, let's check out 10 WWE developmental teams that sound weird today. Let's get it.
Start somewhere. That's
God.
With WWE, which has supplemented its main roster with in-house developmental groups and lower-end affiliates dating back to the 1990s. The stars you've seen from the Ruthless Aggression era onward either cut their teeth or at least underwent extensive polishing in WWE's feeder systems. In the years since, fans have marveled at what roles certain star wrestlers played and what they looked like during those incumbative years. Here, we're going to examine a different sort of mind screw. Developmental tag teams that went on to have very different careers from each other.
Yep.
For how these individuals all turned out after the splitting of their team, it's startling to
okay. This is about to be good.
Partners. I'm Sam Driver.
This is going to be good.
Wrestling, and these are 10 WWE developmental teams that sound weird today. Join us. Number 10, Roman Reigns and Tyler Breeze.
Wow.
Let's start
that
with
is
the
interesting
highly
right there.
one right off the bat. Roman Reigns was unquestionably the most pushed WWE star for a solid decade between the mid-2010s and mid-2020s, holding world titles for extensive periods as either the big dog or the tribal chief. He's no stranger to partnerships, be they with his Shield mates or with members of his literal bloodline. So, imagine him holding tag team gold alongside the wrestler eventually known as Prince Pretty. 5 months away from debuting as part of the Shield, Reigns was still wrestling in Florida Championship Wrestling as Layar Key, while the future Tyler Breeze was wrestling under the name Mike Dalton. In June 2012, the two won the FCW tag titles at an untelevised card in Palatka, Florida, from the duo of Corey Graves and Jake Carter, the son of Vader. The two
Wow, what instance? Because you know Corey used to be part of them as well too as a wrestler before he had to go to commentary due to injury, retire him. But yeah, him and Jake Carter as a tag team, that's interesting.
With the belts for about a month though, dropping them entirely.
I remember Jake Carter was on NXT
to take on the Reigns name and begin working main roster house show bouts ahead of his call up. Number 9, Brad Maddox and Victor.
Whoa.
The ascension we would all come to know
that's really interesting.
Of Connor and Victor, the weirdest demolition / Road Warrior retread there may have ever been. In its original 2011 form, the Ascension was a much different group.
Oh yeah! TNA. I did hear about that. Yeah, I remember before. I think Khan was part of it, but it was Victor wasn't with him. Yeah. Oh yeah.
Bram, Epico Colon, and corner people Ricardo Rodriguez and Raquel Diaz, aka Shaw Guerrero, daughter of Eddie and Vicky. This all predates Victor's involvement, though he had his own piece of business going the following year. Then known as Rick Victor, the smaller half of the WWE Ascension teamed with future corrupt referee and deadpan administrator Brad Maddox to serve as FCW's...
People forget, Brad Maddox was also part of FCW first and kind of wrestled NXT before he got called as a referee and got in that storyline.
Final tag team champions. The two only held the belts for a couple of weeks before FCW's closure and quickly went their separate ways. Maddox became a WWE official to set the stage for his heel run, while Victor was relegated to untelevised bouts for close to a year before surfacing in NXT alongside Connor. It's hard to imagine Victor palling around with weaselly WWE Maddox, or Maddox cosplaying as a medieval axe. Number 8, Juice Robinson and Tonga.
Oh yeah, people forget he was known as what's his name? Camacho. What's his name? CJ Parker and Camacho.
This doesn't sound too weird. Tonga, then Tangaloa, was a member of Bullet Club for about 6 years up to 2022. While Juice had
Thomas, that's not
Thomas. AEW's offshoot Bullet Club Gold since 2022. Both are chaotic individuals that induce violence in their own ways, so they seem like a natural pairing. But for this exercise, we're not talking about Juice and Tonga. We're talking about FCW duo CJ Parker and Donnie Marlowe.
Oh, that's right. I forgot he was Donnie. I forgot that was before he was Camacho. He was Donnie Marlowe. I forgot about that being his name before.
First off, just look at this picture. No, that's not a macro-sized Dustin from Stranger Things. Nor is that Eastern Europe's premier Carlito impersonator. This is future Mr. Tony Storm, looking very different than the Juice we've come to know, love, and perhaps even fear. Tonga's a little more clean-cut as Marlowe,
not the fro.
The silent battle of Hunico. Still, they do look quite thrown together as 4-month FCW tag champs from 2011, looking neither juicy.
Yeah, straight forgot about him knowing as Donald Marlowe.
Tyson Tomko and Kevin Thorne.
Ooh, that's interesting.
To the Jim Cornette era of Ohio Valley Wrestling.
That's
when
interesting.
He got to book and operate something akin to Smoky Mountain if Smoky Mountain Wrestling were infested with Vince's favorite kinds of muscleheads. Corny made do with the body guys WWE provided him, trying to get them ready for their runs in the big time. And in 2003, the present Disciples of Sin stable, managed by his wife Stacy as Sin, boasted 2 noteworthy brutes.
That's interesting.
In a year's time, the men known as Travis Bane and Seven would be called up to WWE respectively as Tyson Tomko, Christian's problem solver, and Mordecai, a moral crusader bedecked in white. Mordecai was later recast as Kevin Thorne, whose calling card was that he was a vampire named Kevin. Briefly OVW Southern Tag Champs in 2003, Tomko and Thorne aren't a weird combination in the sense of being mismatched, because both are certainly heavyweight freaks. It's just that they honestly look like natural allies, and WWE just never thought to pair them together. Number 6, Rob Conway and Eugene.
Whoa, man, this is definitely interesting.
Dinsmore burst onto the
like this VR race. This is some interesting teams right here.
WWE scene as Eugene, a character that proved quite popular in its time, but has admittedly aged like already spoiled milk in a hot car on fire smothered in poo. The childlike savant made his main roster in-ring debut against Rob Conway, an American that turned against his country to side with French tag team La Resistance. Few may have realized at the time that over the preceding several years, Eugene and Conway were OVW's most dominant duo. Dinsmore and Conway were known as the Lords of the Ring.
Lord, look at Eugene. He looks totally different. You would not think that's little Eugene right there. That's crazy.
Efficient duo that generally served manager Kenny Boland's faction, Boland Services. Together, between 1998 and 2002, the Lords reigned on 10 occasions as OVW's Southern Tag Team Champions, an indication that Dinsmore and Conway were reliable and skillful.
You can low-key see, like, damn, this... They almost like, other than, the OVW, for half of the time, Vince didn't know to do with the call-ups, man, because, Bob and Vince get tag team because we got paired with Love Resistance, but Eugene, just saying, compared to what he did in OVW, it was like a side of the Vince of what the fuck you doing, because, wow. I would never known.
favored given his scientific battles with Chris Benoit and other visiting wrestlers. But come 2004, when the two met up again, one was now a happy simpleton and the other a pro-Francois rabble-rouser.
Right.
Wrestling!
Yeah, I gotta share this. This is interesting right here. I gotta share this, man. That's wild. Damn, man. Give me a sec. I gotta share this, man. Wow. I'm bad. I had to share this, man. It's crazy, especially the Genie one. Definitely one crazy to look at. And also, low-key show those signs of the questionable bookings of Carlos back then. I mean, because, like I said, you really gotta think Eugene came from where he came from. Let's get it.
In number 5, Bart Sawyer and Flex Kavana. By 1996,
Yup,
Jerry
I did
Lawler's
hear about
NWA
this.
promotion was little more than a hollowed-out shell of Memphis's glory days of yore, while acting as a talent feeder system to the WWF. The talent exchanges went both ways, with USWA being used to fine-tune some less experienced wrestlers that the WWF had high hopes for. And one of those wrestlers teamed with journeyman Bart Sawyer for a little spell in the mid-90s. Said novice was named Flex Kavana, but you certainly know him as somebody else entirely. Sawyer was a 30-year-old, 8-year-old.
And think about it. Always felt like I always look at something Flex Kavana. Flex Kavana was actually a babyface, and it was literally early rendition of The Rock persona. I guess at the time Vince wasn't like sure if that combination would work as a babyface at the time, I guess, so that he went with the Marky Villa, which, you know, the story with that. But I feel like if he kept that Flex Kavana character and we go in, I think the fans would like them earlier as well too, instead of him have to go through the heel turn and all that as well too. I mean, to come The Rock and all that as well too. So yeah, I feel like he missed the ball with that one too.
Veteran of places like Portland and Kansas City, and even worked as an enhancement talent for WCW. Standing 5'9" and looking like a smaller combo of Stan Lane and Eddie Gilbert, Sawyer was experienced enough to help the young Kavana out in 1996. The two feuded over the tag titles with Memphis mainstays Lawler and Bill Dundee before Kavana was whisked away to the WWF. Federation fans today may not be as familiar with the barnstorming Sawyer, but they certainly know who Kavana became when he eventually remade himself as the People's Champion himself, The Rock. Number 4, Shawn Spears and Dolph Ziggler.
Ooh,
the name was
now
right
that's
there.
interesting. For a minute, I thought it was going to be Shawn Spears and James Jordan, but ooh, that's an interesting team right there. Yeah, I think this is about time he was I just can't stand. That's what he was standing. But yeah.
Alas, this combination existed shortly before Ziggler arrived on WWE Raw, and long before Spears began flashing 10 fingers to amuse the Full Sail audience. In the summer of 2008, Ziggler, who'd already been on WWE's main roster as part of the Spirit Squad, was wrestling under real name Nick Nemeth, bracing for his return to the big time. His partner, some don't realize, was due to be called up as well. At the time, Shawn Spears was known as Gavin Spears.
Gavin Spears,
looking nothing like the chairman that would one day cave in Cody Rhodes'
Forgot about that! Yeah! Forgot about that little run he has Gavin Spears for a minute. Yup!
With a folding seat. In 2009,
I forgot about this.
Briefly surfaced on the dying ECW brand under the Gavin name.
Totally forgot about that. Actually remember, I can't believe I forgot about that. I actually remember that too. Just completely forgot about that one. Yeah!
WWE Ether.
This is one time ECW was trying to be NXT for a minute before it existed.
In 2008, Nemeth and Spears reigned with FCW's tag team belts, holding them for 4 weeks before dropping them to the combination of Heath Slater and Joe Curtis Axel Hennig. Ziggler and Ty Dillinger versus Slater and Axel? That could have opened any main event taping in 2016. Number 3, Damian Sandow and Titus O'Neil. Two staples of the
I think I might have actually heard about this team.
2010s, Sandow and O'Neil came from very
Colonel
different
Sandow,
places when they first won Florida Tag Team Gold in 2010. Sandow had previously been a WWE enhancement talent under the name Aaron Stevens, and was later a tag wrestler on SmackDown named Idol
Tisha's Pet
by Michelle McCool.
Tisha's
O'Neil, meanwhile, came from secondary football leagues to sign with WWE as a green prospect in 2009. Together, the intellectual savior of the unwashed masses and the future prime-time player held the FCW tag belts for 4 months, winning the vacated gold in a match against another oddball combination, pre-Nexus Mason Ryan and pre-New Day Xavier Woods.
Wow. Must have been right after he left TNA as Consequences Creed. Wow. And whoa, look who's the tag team after this.
In March 2011 at the hands of Seth Rollins and Richie Steamboat.
To this day, it sucks that Steamboat couldn't do what he could have did in that NXT, man. It sucked that injury hindered him, man. Because he would have carried his father legacy pretty well if he could, yo.
Son of Ricky that had to retire young due to injuries. And by this point of the list, you must be somewhat bewildered at the seemingly random combinations of teams that FCW cobbled together. So let's end this list with a pair of OVW standards. Number 2, Brock Lesnar and Shelton Benjamin.
That is not that I'm gonna tell you right now, not unlikely. Because if you know them so well, if you knew about these guys so well, you know it happened. Half because they're college teammates. Yep, that's surprisingly out of all the lists, it's not unlikely. Surprisingly.
If you base this solely on their main roster run,
if you knew them well, it's just not unlikely because they're even despite them going their separate ways, they always been tight. So yeah.
This feels a little bit imbalanced. Lesnar went on to become one of the most dominant main eventers in WWE history, as well as one of the promotion's more polarizing figures. Benjamin, meanwhile, racked up tag and secondary.
If you looked at it that way,
like
I say, if you looked at it that way, yeah, it looks a little imbalanced. But if you knew about them very well and all that, it's not unlikely.
Run during the noughties, then found more success in the 2020s in the Hurt business. 2 very different career paths. Of course, knowledgeable fans are aware of the long-standing connection between Lesnar and Benjamin, known together in OVW as the Minnesota Stretching Crew. When Lesnar won the Division I Heavyweight National Wrestling title at the University of Minnesota in 2000, Benjamin was a teammate, roommate, and assistant coach of Lesnar's. Benjamin himself placed highly in the heavyweight championships of 97 and 98. He himself, no slouch on the mat. But together, the crew won the OVW tag belts on 3 occasions in 2001 before both were called up to WWE's main roster the following year. And number 1, John Cena
and Rico. Yup.
So-called
reason I kind of somewhat know about that, there's a video out of their them having a match on WWE, a dark match on WWE as well too, and John and Rico was a tag team, and Brock was tagged with somebody else as well too. I forgot who he was tagged with. He wasn't tagged with Shelton at the time as well too, and somebody else from AEW too. And surprisingly, I think Brock was the babyface of it as well too. So yeah.
OVW4 generally consists of Lesnar, Cena, Randy Orton, and Batista, a classification that omits 2 other valuable stars of the period, Benjamin and Rico Constantino. In his days as the prototype, most agreed that Cena looked the part of a main event star and he had the rare charisma to match. So it might sound odd that Cena was paired with Rico, who, while a dynamic athlete with his own affable personality, was nearing 40 years of age. Yet, in 2001, Prototype and Constantino were OVW tag champs together, winning the belts from Lesnar and Benjamin before dropping the gold back to the Minnesota duo 2.5 months later. In less than 1 year after their defeat, Rico debuted on the main roster as the haughty stylist of Billy and Chuck, while Cena arrived just months later as a generic go-getter, later to find his voice as the Doctor of Thugonomics. While their main roster runs took them to very different places and heights, for a long time, John Cena and Rico were champions together in WWE's finishing.
Yeah, man, that's crazy. I knew they tagged one time because of that dark match that surfaced at one time with them being tag teaming and going against Lesnar and another guy from OVW. I can't think of the name right now, but yeah, I heard about that. I was going to react to it, but nah, I ain't going to do it. But yeah, a lot of people was pissed about that reveal, the quick video as well too, though. Other than that, yeah, this was a cool video to watch. I'm glad I watched this. This was good. So if you like my reaction to this, like, share, subscribe to my YouTube channel, It's your boy T-Bird signing off. One love.